Many people here in the room already know that lots of times investors start with a one-pager or video, short email. They move to a short phone call. They do a PowerPoint presentation, or maybe send over a PowerPoint, have a due diligence phone call, and then go deeper and deeper depending on how institutional the investor is. They might want a due diligence questionnaire, which is basically, if you thought of the 20 to 45 questions that everyone asks you, or your most sophisticated investors ask you, and then you put those into a Word document and answer them, maybe with a couple diagrams next to a couple of them, or your attorney double checking the most complex answer about some issue, then you'll have that ready for those who ask for a due diligence questionnaire or a DDQ. But most smaller family offices and no high net worth investors will ever ask you for one, in my experience. Most people raising capital don't even know what they are, but everyone raising institutional capital has them. So you always want to be ready for a half notch above whoever you're raising capital from, because one, if then you get a lead, you don't fumble it. That's a little bit at a league above where you're playing at. You want to not fumble that lead, obviously. But also the lower level investors, as long as you don't use terms that confuse them or overwhelm them, then they appreciate it, because many times you've probably heard an investor say, okay, well, I've asked all the questions I could think of, but what else should I be asking? Like, I don't know, I'm not the expert in what you do. You're the expert. So it's kind of hard for me to ask the question. So, if you have 40 questions, hey, I know you had 5 or 10 questions over the phone. You asked another 3 here over email. We found it helps to review the top 40 questions we usually get, or the top 20 questions we usually get, and go through this. And if you're an investor here today, it saves you a lot of time and energy if you can handle questions over email and over a due diligence questionnaire versus being on the phone for an hour and a half and asking them questions, hearing them verbally say it, and then your team can't review those answers unless you record the Zoom and they watch an hour and a half Zoom, where you can scan their answers in 4 minutes and learn a lot more faster, right? So really efficient, evolved investors have to operate this way so they can say no because of something they wouldn't have found out till question 19, 45 minutes into a phone call, and they can just avoid that first phone call and communicate this way. So it's good to have a due diligence questionnaire in place during the pitch, because it can help them and grow the confidence in what you're doing.